The International Religious Freedom Act of 1998 of the United States requires the Office of the Secretary of State to make a list of countries that have engaged in or that have tolerated systematic or ongoing violations of religious freedom. The International Freedom Act refers to the religious beliefs as a universal act. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and for this episode, we're going to be talking about countries with the least religious freedom. So this episode is going to be filled with some surprising and unexpected names, so stay tuned all the way until the end. All right, coming in at number 10, we have the country of Myanmar. So check it out. This country is on the list since the year 1999, when it was still known as Burma. Myanmar captured the world's attention in 2017 because of the conflicts between the forces of government and the country's minority Rohingya Muslims. The police attacked the Rakhine state of Rohingya people when they attacked police offices as well as an army base in 2017. This conflict resulted in the fleeing of 70,000 people to Bangladesh as refugees and around 23,000 people displaced internally in Myanmar. People say that the government is involved in an ethnic cleansing operation against the Rohingya people. Moving on to number 9, we have the country of China. China allows normal religious activities, but the thing is, it has never really told us what it means by normal, okay? So although the government officially recognizes Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Catholic and Protestant belief systems of Christianity, well, there have been widespread reports of attacks on other sects, and notably the non-violent Falun Gong and Uyghur Muslims. According to the 2016 report by the State Department, there have been complaints that the government of China is involved in physical abuse, detention, arrest, and harassment of both registered and unregistered people. There have been stories about a disappeared Catholic priest and the burying of a pastor and his wife while they were still alive. That's pretty creepy. Now, the takeover of Tibet has also aroused an issue of religious persecution in China. From there, let's look at the country of Eritrea at number 8. Now, the situation over in Eritrea was summed up in a report by the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, or the USCIRF for short, and this is what the report had to say, and I quote, "The Eritrean government continues to restrict the freedom of religion for unregistered and, in some cases, registered religious communities. Torture or other ill treatment of religious prisoners, arbitrary arrests and detentions without charges, and prolonged ban on public religious activities of unregistered religious groups, and interference in the internal affairs of registered religious groups are examples of systematic, ongoing, and egregious religious freedom violation. The situation is especially dire for unregistered evangelical, Pentecostal, and Jehovah's Witnesses." End quote. All right, from there, we look at Iran. So according to the report of the USCIRF, it says that Iran has a systematic campaign against religious freedom through the arrest and harassment of Baha'is, as well as Christian converts, Sunni Muslims, and even some Shia Muslims. They're not free from this. So since the election of President Hassan Rouhani in 2013, the anti-Semitic proclamations, which decreased the number of people who are not given the right to their religious freedoms, has really increased. Now, next up at number 6, you guys, I'm sure, expected North Korea to be in this list. No one knows exactly what is going on really in North Korea, also known as the Hermit Kingdom. But according to the report of the USCIRF, North Korea profoundly suppresses religious freedom. Now, the citizens are compelled to worship the leader of the state, Kim Jong-un, and people in North Korea practice their religion secretly because they definitely can't be doing that in public. Now, at number 5, let's look at Sudan. The state of Sudan operated under Sharia law, and now this law enforces hudud penalties on Muslims and non-Muslims. And by the way, hudud is an Arabic word meaning borders, boundaries, and limits. The reports of the USCIRF say that Sudan opposes the establishment of any community of Christianity, and it also claims that the state arrests Christian leaders. From there, at number 4, we move to Saudi Arabia. The government of Saudi Arabia promotes Sunni Islam. Most people in the world, I'm sure by now, know this. Now, even if other sects of Muslims go there, their government really cut back the power of its Commission for the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice due to its Vision 2030 campaign for modernization of the country. Also, the country does prohibit any public practice of other religions other than Islam. The government sees the public practice as having an intention to convert other people, and they don't want anybody to be converted to anything else other than Islam. However, the Saudi Arabian authorities, they do allow private practices of religions other than Islam. Next up at number 3, Tajikistan. Alright, Tajikistan is a secular state, but there have been some hardships, particularly for Muslims, Protestants, and Jehovah's Witnesses, and people have been imprisoned on fake cases just because of their religious identity. Yeah, it gets pretty bad sometimes. There have been reports in the country that the police raids, surveillance, as well as the force banning against religious and non-registered organizations in the country. Now, the religious activities in the country are controlled by the Committee of Religious Affairs of the government. Now, since the year 2016, Tajikistan has been designated as a country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act of 1998 for having engaged in or tolerated particularly severe violations of people's religious freedom. From there, the country at number 2 is Turkmenistan. This country also controls all of its religious activities. Now, what they do is they require religious groups to register and meet with the government. The Constitution does provide for freedom of religion, and it does not establish a state religion at all. However, the government severely restricts all religious expression except for 2 registered groups: Sunni Muslims and the Russian Orthodox Church. The USCIRF calls it an intrusive standard, and the registration, on the other hand, it does not give you any guarantee of no harm. There are reports of torture and people being jailed because they are Muslim or, Russian, Christian. Now, from there, we move on to Uzbekistan at number 1. In 2016, there were around 13,500 religious and political prisoners in the country. Now, the state forces people to adhere to a particular version of Islam. Now, members of Protestant Christian denominations were frequently harassed through raids and seizures of religious literature. Uzbek society generally tolerates Christian churches as long as they do not attempt to convert ethnic Uzbeks. So guys, that's all I have for you in this episode. If you made it this far, that means you probably enjoyed this one. You found it entertaining. If you did, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up. As always, I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below about anything mentioned in this video. Thanks for hanging out with me in another one, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.